Alright, a very warm welcome back everyone. Today I want to talk about the differences between mixing and mastering your songs. And what you see here in the project window is just one song that I've noted in a pre-master and a master fashion. So a pre-master signal is basically the signal that comes out of mixing without any post-processing applied, and the mastered signal is what comes out after the mastering process. So if you decided to glue your signal together and limit this and get it to a desired loudness level so that you can actually send it out to music stores if you like. And what you also see is that I have loaded two supervision plugins here, and they are loaded post-fader inserts, one for the pre-master channel and one for the master channel. And what you see just by the values alone is that we have a similar integrated loudness. So this means that that both of these songs are similarly loud. Of course, although the mastered version would be louder if you compare them on an absolute basis, because you can see here that the amplitude of this mastered signal is way higher than it is for the pre-mastered or mixed signal. And what you also see is that the mixed signal has a much higher true peak than the mastered signal has. And this is due to the fact that in the mastering process, we decide to limit our songs, as I've mentioned before. And via this limiting process, our true peaks get actually smaller. So we squash our signal together, and therefore our true peaks are not as prominent as they would be in the transients as they would be in the mixing version. And also for the momentary max, here in the mixed version, you see that the momentary max value is a higher value than in the mastered version. And this is quite unusual, because usually it would be that the mastered song should be louder than the mixed song. But this is just because I decided to put them on a similar loudness level here for you to hear. And we are going to take a listen to these songs now. And we are going to play a little game for this. So I'm going to let you listen to whatever part of the pre-master or master track. I'm not going to tell you which one is which, but in this case, we are going to use the Q-Sense I've mentioned before in some of the other videos in order to listen to these signals. And I want you to just take notes on what you can hear differently in each of these songs, and probably if you can also take a guess on which material you are actually listening to. So I think we are just we are going right into it in right now. I think this should suffice for a quick listening. So what you probably heard is that both songs sound similar, but there are some differences that you might actually hear. So in the first cue, so this is actually the pre-mastered version, and the second one is the mastered version, you hear that the transients from the kick and from the snare come through a little bit better than they are in the second version. And this is due to the fact that the second version is a little bit more squashed than the first version would be. And also you can hear that in the second version, the highs, or especially the melody and high frequencies, come out a little bit better than they would be in the mixed version. And if we now take a listen back, you can maybe also hear this now that I've told you. So we're just going to take a quick listen again. You can also hear for the mastered version, you can hear these high frequencies in the snares as well. So this is the first thing. The second thing is I've made it pretty easy for you to see those changes and see those differences between these two songs, just because I loudness matched them. If you have a loudness matched song, it's very easy to find out the differences because you don't have to like think of the different loudness levels and what they introduce to your music. Usually your brain and your ears would think that a song that is louder is always perceived as better. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to like put some more volume on my master track. So in this case, I'm going to double the volume, and you will probably say that this song sounds better, even though for some of you, it might not actually be. So it could be that you decided that the pre-master track sounds better than the master track. But in this case, we are just going to do this experiment ourselves. So this is the pre-master track again. And of course, you would say now, well, the second track or the Q2 sounds much better than the first one. And this is just due to the fact that your ears would perceive a louder track as better. Now, this is actually not the actual target level of the sound or of the track that I had. So in fact, the track was much louder. And to demonstrate how much louder, I'm going to get rid of the compressor that is ducking my voice now, and I'm going to put the master up to the desired level that actually was used in a mastering process. So I want you to turn down your headphones or your monitoring systems, because this is going to get much louder than the initial version of this Q1. And I'm going to let you listen to the fully mastered version of this part in its full loudness, and you are going to hear what it actually sounds like. Okay, I think this was quite loud. We are peaking we have an integrated loudness of -7, which is actually, for this portion, this is quite much. But for the whole song, we actually do get -9 LUFS, which is already quite much. But if you think of streaming portal of streaming services, you usually find the recommendation to master your songs at -14 LUFS. And then also add -1 decibel of true peak, so for the conversion purposes. But -9 for a song like this is pretty much already. However, I would not have been that successful in achieving this, and I should probably set this to this value again, so nothing peaks. I would not have been that successful with doing this if I didn't have a signal that was very, very neat to begin with. So if I hadn't a mix that was that close to so this I would say perfect in the frequency response, because otherwise, if you have like hills and valleys in there, you usually have to get rid of those by reducing some elements and also some frequencies, maybe also compressing this, and this would usually not come in handy for the whole mastering purpose or whole mastering process. So you would have to do much more in order to achieve such a loudness than that I have achieved here with, let's say, quite an easy mastering process. So I just did some saturation, some filtering, also some equalizers, and then I used some limiters to get to this desired threshold. And as you can hear, nothing peaks, everything is clear and clean, especially when you listen to the low end. I mean, I'm still of the opinion that this low end is absolutely gorgeous and sexy and tight, and I don't know what I did to this low end to make it sound that impressive, but yeah, I feel this song is one of the better ones I did. So I think it was a good idea to look into the mixing and mastering process of this one here. So just remember, if you have a song that you would like to master, you should have done the mixing properly. So don't bring these arguments like, well, I'm going to fix this in the mastering. No, this is not going to work. Fix it in the mixing process. Fix it as soon as you can, as early as you can, maybe even in the production process, because things are just getting worse if you're going for the mixing or the mastering session then. And if you are going to master for streaming services, keep in mind to go for -14. -14 is always a good idea because also other services use -14 as their reference point. But if you want to go louder, you can go louder. I mean, I've showed you that this works, that this is actually doable, but you have to be very careful in a way that your master does not clip and does not distort and everything. So this is very very difficult to get this right. It's very easy to make things loud, like loud and not sounding good, but it's very hard to make things loud and make them sound good at the same time and make them sound clear and clean. And I think this is a good explanation and also a good example for this one.